I never imagined that the man I had loved for 6 whole years would turn our home into a revolving door for strangers. But here I am, Sarah, 30 years old, standing in the ruins of everything I thought was real. What would you do if you flew across an ocean chasing your dreams, only to come back and discover that while you were gone, the person you trusted most had been swiping right on dating apps every single night? And not just while you were away. No, for over a year before that too. This is the story of how I found out Jake had been cheating on me the entire time I was overseas, and how I made sure he lost everything he thought he could keep. Jake and I met at a little coffee shop near campus when I was 22. He had that easy smile, the kind that makes you forget what you were ordering. I was the quiet graphic designer with big dreams. He was the outgoing sales guy who could talk anyone into anything. 6 years later, we had built a life together. The apartment with the big windows, the rescue dog we named Luna, Sunday mornings with pancakes, and bad movies. I was the one who held him when he lost his first big job. He was the one who stayed up all night helping me finish my portfolio when I was terrified no one would hire me. We talked about marriage, about kids one day, about growing old on a porch somewhere. When the opportunity came for me to take a 4-month contract in Paris, I almost turned it down. "Go," he said, kissing my forehead at the airport. "This is your dream, Sarah. I'll be right here waiting." I cried the whole flight because I already missed him. Little did I know he had already started looking for someone to fill the space I was leaving behind. Paris was supposed to be magic. I worked 14-hour days on campaigns for luxury brands, sent him photos of the Eiffel Tower at night, voice notes saying, "I love you," in French just to make him laugh. At first he answered every call. Then the replies got shorter. "Busy at work, babe. Out with the guys." Video calls became excuses, bad connection, phone dying, too tired. I told myself it was the time difference. I told myself I was being paranoid. But one night, sitting on the tiny balcony of my rented studio, rain tapping against the glass like nervous fingers, I felt it in my chest, that cold, heavy knowing something was wrong. I flew home a week early as a surprise. I wanted to see his face light up. I wanted to wrap my arms around him and feel safe again. Instead, I walked into our apartment and smelled a perfume that wasn't mine. Jake wasn't home yet. His laptop was open on the kitchen counter, still logged into everything. I don't know what made me sit down. Maybe it was the half-empty wine glass with lipstick on the rim. Maybe it was the way the sheets on our bed looked rumpled in a way that felt wrong. I clicked Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, 3 different profiles, all active, all with recent photos of him smiling the same smile he used to give me. The messages went back months. "Can't wait to see you tonight. Handsome. Your place or mine?" Photos. Explicit. Dates scheduled on the exact nights. I was calling him from Paris crying because I missed him. And then I scrolled further back. Messages from 14 months ago. While I was still here, while we were still planning our future, I sat there until the screen went black, tears falling onto the keyboard. When he walked through the door, I didn't scream. I just held up the laptop and said, "How long?" He tried to laugh it off at first. "Babe, it's not what it looks like." Then the mask slipped. "You were gone. I got lonely. It didn't mean anything." I threw his clothes out the window. I told him to get out. That night, I slept on the couch with Luna curled against me, her little whimpers the only sound in the apartment that used to feel like home. The next weeks were hell. I couldn't eat. I couldn't work. Every corner of the apartment had a memory. The spot on the couch where he used to massage my feet after long days. The coffee mug he bought me that said, "Future Mrs. Thompson." I kept replaying every "I love you," wondering which ones were lies. Some of our mutual friends took his side. He was just stressed. "Sarah, don't blow up your whole life over a few mistakes." I felt like I was drowning in a sea of people who had never really seen me. One rainy Thursday, my best friend Lisa showed up with 2 bottles of wine and a box of tissues. She didn't say, "It'll be okay." She just sat on the floor with me and listened while I cried until my throat was raw. Then she looked at me and said, "This isn't over until you know the whole truth. I know a guy, private investigator, ex-cop. He owes me a favor. Let him dig." For the first time in weeks, I felt something other than pain. I felt purpose. The report came back 3 weeks later in a plain manila envelope. I sat at my kitchen table and opened it with shaking hands. It wasn't just Paris. It was never just Paris. Jake had been active on those apps for 14 straight months. 12 different women. Hotel receipts paid with my credit card. The one he said he was using for work lunches. Messages bragging to his buddies. "Sarah's clueless. Bro, she thinks I'm at the gym." One woman he'd been seeing regularly for 8 months. He told her I was basically just a roommate and that he was planning to move her into our apartment the week after I left for Europe. Photos of them in our bed, in our shower, on the couch where I used to fall asleep in his arms. The investigator even had audio from one of the women. She recorded him because she was starting to suspect he was married. His voice, clear as day, "Don't worry about Sarah. She's nothing." I threw up in the sink. Then I laughed. A broken, ugly laugh. Because in that moment, I realized the man I loved had never existed. I could have just left. I could have taken the high road and let him walk away thinking he won. But something inside me, the part that had been quiet for 6 years while I put him first, woke up screaming. I decided he didn't get to keep the life he built on my back. I spent the next month playing the role of my life. I told him I'd been to therapy, that I wanted to try again, that maybe we could do couples counseling. He bought it completely. He moved back in temporarily. Every night I smiled while he kissed me goodnight, and every morning I added another screenshot to the folder on my hidden drive. I contacted 3 of the women from the report. 2 of them agreed to let me record short video statements. The 3rd sent me voice messages of him bad-mouthing me. I booked the rooftop venue where we had our 5-year anniversary dinner. I told him it was a surprise renewal night with close friends and family to celebrate getting through the rough patch. I invited his parents, his sister, his boss, his entire sales team, everyone who had ever told me what a great guy he was. I told them it was a surprise promotion party. They all said yes. The night arrived. String lights, white tablecloths, champagne on ice. Jake walked in wearing the suit I bought him for his last birthday, grinning like the king of the world. Everyone clapped. He hugged his mom, shook his boss's hand, whispered in my ear, "You're the best, babe. I'm so lucky." I smiled. I waited until dessert was served. Then I stood up, tapped my glass, and said, "Before we celebrate Jake's promotion, I have a short video I'd like to share. It's about loyalty, about truth, about the man we all thought we knew." The lights dimmed. The projector came on. 6 years of our happy photos faded slowly into screenshots of Tinder conversations, explicit messages, hotel receipts. The women's videos played one after another. My voice, calm and steady, read the letter I had written the night I found out. "Jake, for 6 years, I gave you every piece of me. I cheered for your dreams while you laughed about me behind my back. Tonight, everyone gets to see the real you." The room went dead silent. Then chaos. His mother started crying. His boss stood up and said, "You're fired, effective immediately." His father wouldn't even look at him. Jake dropped to his knees begging, "Sarah, please, I can explain." I looked down at the man I once loved and felt nothing, just peace. I took Luna's leash, picked up the envelope with the divorce papers I'd already filed, and walked out while he screamed my name into the night. 2 years later, I'm living in a new city with a promotion of my own. Luna has a big backyard. I still drink coffee on balconies, but now the rain feels like freedom instead of fear. Jake lost his job, his reputation, half his friends, and every ounce of respect from the people who once called him family. Last I heard, he's selling used cars in a town 2 hours away and still has my name blocked on everything. The best revenge isn't screaming or breaking things. It's becoming the woman he could never deserve and letting his own lies do the rest. So if you're watching this and you've ever been betrayed, hear me clearly. Your pain is valid. Your anger is valid. But your comeback, that's inevitable. Trust your gut. Protect your peace. And never, ever let anyone make you small again. If this story moved you, if you've ever felt that same knife in your back, drop a comment with the word karma and tell me, what would you have done in my place? Like, if you believe in justice, share with anyone who needs to hear that they're not alone. And subscribe, but only if you're ready for more stories where the good ones rise and the liars finally fall. I'll see you in the next one. Take care of your heart out there.